It's all right. We were all new.
Yeah, man. So, all right. So, what is this? Episode 11. Episode 11. We have Patrick
Oh,
Jarvis here, and Chug as
hey,
always.
Morning.
Chug, morning. Thanks
what's
for
happening,
joining us this
everybody?
morning. Yeah. Yeah. How's your week been, Patrick?
Good, good. Went to Chattanooga, Tennessee last week and
Oh
enjoyed a
shit.
little R&R and then got back on Sunday and back into the grind.
That's right. I saw that. I saw that. I want to go up. I've been there before, but I want to go actually to go up there ride and stuff. You know, check that out. I'm pretty sure they got some good trails up there.
Dude, I wanted to take my bike and I looked at the weather report for the week and it said it was supposed to rain all week and it did, but it's just pop-up showers because it's in the mountains.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
like it would rain for like 15, 20 minutes and it would be beautiful the rest of the day. I'm like, damn it, I should have brought my freaking bike.
I wonder what the
That's
dirt.
all right.
Yeah, I wonder what the dirt's like over there. Like if it's like here where it's like clay, or I doubt it's like here, but
No, I think it's what I've watched some videos and stuff because I was, like I said, I was planning on riding out there, and it looked like it's dirt that's not that much different than what you'd find in Bentonville. You know how it's got
oh,
the little rock and stuff in it.
right.
It's
Hey,
supposed
so
to do really well.
yeah, so Chug, we're talking about the dirt because the dirt matters. You know, as far as like here in
Yes,
Texas,
all
it's like
dirt matters.
yeah,
right.
like here in Texas, it's like clay. So if it gets wet, it just like sticks to your bike, your frame, your everything. What's it like over there in Kansas? Like, is the dirt stick to your shoes when it gets real muddy out there?
No, it's not as, what would you say, as gritty here. It's just, more pasty. Once it gets, good wet and sitting in the place, it's not gonna like stick to your bike like how you're speaking of.
Right,
Not as much, but mud is mud.
right. And is the dirt more red up there? I would imagine because you guys have the Mississippi up there, if my geography serves me correctly. Isn't like they're like red clay off along the
No, we
Mississippi?
got the Missouri and the Kansas. No,
Missouri, Missouri,
we're gonna have no.
wrong
We
river.
gonna, ain't none of that up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
good old brown dirt with the earthworm.
there you go.
No
There you go.
colors.
So
Yes, sir.
so how long you been riding, Patrick? How long would you say you've been in the mountain biking like arena?
A little over 3.5 years, something like that.
3.5 years. Nice.
Yeah.
What got you started in riding?
My brother, he'd been riding for probably 7, 8 years.
Damn.
And I was looking for something. I hate running. Running sucks.
It does. It does. I ran the other day and I was running with Lotus or my dog,
Right.
and it's perhaps I'm getting older, but sometimes I can just like go for a run without stretching. But I ran this one particular. We started at Fox the day it rained here this past week, and I just felt something pull in my calf. So I had to like stop. It was a mile and a half in, and I had to like just walk back pretty much. I was pretty pissed, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, running does it sucks. It's harder on your knees and ankles and everything else. But anyways, so you're saying you're tired of running and
It's hard on your whole body.
yeah,
Yeah. When I was training for, have you ever heard of Go Ruck?
goats rock.
Go Ruck.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
I have.
I was training for those,
So,
and part of their training regimen includes biking, and so all three of the guys I was training with, they all had bikes, and so they would go for their training rides, and I wouldn't. And so that was kind of how the whole bike conversation got started, and I ended up buying a cross country bike from a company named Airborne. It was a consumer direct company, and that was where I got my start. Got a killer deal, man. It had awesome components. It was a hardtail cross country bike, though. I think I
Nice.
got it for like $1,200. But
Nice.
man, it was a great bike. I rode the shit out of that thing for like 8, 9 months until it tried to kill me a couple times.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
That happens. That's kind of like most of us. Like my first bike was.
I'm hearing that could be a possible trend.
Oh yeah, this guy is always killing himself.
You got a bike trying to kill you too?
Yeah, yeah, possible
Yeah,
change maybe.
he's on a mongoose. Was it mongoose? What? Do you remember the name of it?
Ex- Excursion.
Excursion. Mongoose
Oh, I thought you
excursion.
said explosion. I was like, what?
No, that
Seems
happens
about
after I crash.
yeah. After you crash and after you eat, you have a good meal. The explosion.
It's not a good day, nonetheless.
Yeah, so we've been trying to like look for bikes for Chug as well, and he, like I said, he just started riding and stuff, and we kind of got into doing this podcast, but just through a conversation. Him and I kind of stayed in contact from a deployment that we were on in 2010, and we kind of just back and forth. And then I talked to him out of the blue one day, maybe like 4 months ago, maybe approximately, maybe a little bit longer. And I was like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about starting a podcast." And I was like, "You want to do one with me?" He's like, "Yeah, man." So he actually had a YouTube channel when he was stationed in Madrid or in Spain. It was called
Nice.
Black Man in Madrid, and he would kind of you shit. Why am I speaking for you, man? You're right here.
Hey man, if you love it, go for it. Hey, who am I to stop it? It's hard to stop moving. So pretty much what it was just an expat living in a different country, going through similar life experiences, but just in a different country through but with the same skin.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
still a black person in a different country. It's a little different, but at the same time, it's so many similarities. And
What are you riding right now, Patrick?
I'm on a 2019 Santa Cruz Bronson.
How do you like that?
It's a machine, man. It's when I first when I got out of when I sold my cross country bike and got into the Santa Cruz 5010, I really thought that was going to be kind of like the do it all bike, which it was. It was great. And people started talking about going into longer travel bikes. And I was like, there is no reason that anybody's going to need a bike that's 140 mil or more in San
Right.
Antonio, But I found good uses for it. So
Yeah, man.
it's been a great bike. Great bike. Really well rounded. Much more well rounded than I thought it was going to be for here, At least for the local stuff.
Did you test ride it first, or did you just kind of pull the trigger on
No. Yeah, I the 5010 I had, I test rode that when they had a demo that came through. But I was so pleased with it that I was pretty sure that the Bronson was going to be a good fit. And so yeah, as soon as they released it, I pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never ridden the Santa Cruz before. I've seen them. One thing I do love about Santa Cruz is the warranty that they have. It's like for the
Yeah.
original purchaser, it's a lifetime warranty.
Yeah.
But that warranty, and then one thing I just learned about it recently is they have a, a way that they do business is like pretty much where they try to get the parts to the consumer as fast as they can. It's called no missed rides or something.
Yeah. I've had experience with them too, man. They're awesome, dude. Awesome.
Really?
Yeah. I had on my 5010, I had so on the rear triangle, there's two uprights, and on the new version there's two uprights. Yeah,
Right.
go.
Go.
But on the model that I had, it was just an upright on one side, and so as the bike went through its travel, it would slowly. It wasn't linear like it needed to be. It had just a slight cant to it, and it would slowly work this bolt out right behind the crank, and I ended up snapping that bolt.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
On
I took
jump
it to
or riding.
no. So it would work itself loose. I'd put thread lock on it, put it back in, and it would seat just fine. But then slowly over time, it would work its way back out again.
Man.
Especially over like riding out of Flat Rock Ranch, places that are really really chattery and just a lot of chunk and stuff, where the rear triangle's doing a lot of work. And so I finally just torqued the shit out of it one day, and I snapped the head off of it, and I was like,
oh.
and so I had to call Santa Cruz. Yeah, I was like, I'm a dum dum. I over torqued it. Can you guys help me out? And they sent me a whole new set of bolts and pivots and stuff, all free of charge. All I had to do was pay for shipping.
Mongo smash.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That would be a horrible feeling.
Yeah, I was like, I broke my bike, man. What am I supposed to do? Because it broke off in the frame, man. I was freaking out, dude. I was like, how do I tell the wife I broke my bike because I'm a dum-dum? Like, at least if you break your bike sending it off a big drop or something, you got a good story with it. But no, mine's just I was a dum-dum.
I've done that a few times, just trying to do my own bike maintenance, and I didn't snap any bolts, but I rounded off the heads, and that was a bitch to get them off, especially like on my grips. Those little bolts, because everything's like aluminum on the bike, so if you have a steel bit or whatever the material may be, like the harder side, like it's gonna strip the bolt. So you have to be very careful of like how much torque you put on it. I'm sure you've learned.
I did not let that be known on my derailleur cable in the back. Oh yeah, I pretty much stripped that little bolt. It's shredded.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. You're learning. We're bringing you along nicely.
It ain't learning it
it's
the hard way.
I know. I'm looking at. As I said on the phone yesterday, Patrick. I've been looking at new frames and new bikes and stuff, and I've kind of been in the market for a while. I think we're always in the market. It seems like this sport is very addictive. As Chug will soon learn once you start getting on the trails. Actually, I think he's starting to learn that now.
Yeah, especially when you start riding with a good group of dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold up. Is that here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's your smoke detector?
Hell yeah, dude. I was like, what the hell? I'm on the background. It's just like, Simon, the flames that you're fucking shooting up. Gotta get the show going.
There you go.
Keep it going. I'll burn this motherfucker. The show must go on.
Right.
Nah, but
hot episode.
Yeah, it's a hot episode coming in hot.
That's funny.
It's the hottest episode yet.
Yeah, so I've been looking at a new bike. So one of the bikes I'm looking at is, I said, an IBIS HD5, which comes with a nice price point. One of the ones I'm considering too is the Santa Cruz because of the warranty thing, but I haven't really dove into the models and which one would be best for me. I'm pretty much trying to find something that the company would say that it's like bike park rated, and so I want to be able to do anything that I can, or not anything I can to it, but most things with it without the company trying to like weasel out of it. You know what I mean? Like I want to make sure that they guarantee to a certain extent. You know what I mean? As far as like Santa Cruz, like if it's, I don't know. I was watching an episode. There's a YouTuber called Van Can that I like watching, and he was talking about that. When he was looking for his bike, that some of the bikes they came with, like they're bike park rated, they're free ride rated or whatever. So the company's pretty much standing behind their product, saying, you can do like most things with this. You know what I mean? Aside from dropping it off a mountain or something like Rampage or something. Right.
Yeah, I mean, most bikes are made for just like a tool. You buy a specific tool for a specific use. I can't imagine someone taking a cross country bike to. I'm sure they do because I see it at Spider Mountain. But
yeah. I remember when we went to Angel Fire last 2 months ago or whenever we went, and they had a sign that said, "Have you been to Angel Fire?"
No, dude, I'm overdue. I want to go.
Yeah, it's cool, man. If you ever think about going, let me know. But they have a sign there that says like, not all bikes are created equal. So pretty much like, be aware of which bike you're gonna take up this, because you might not come down with it at least in one piece.
Yeah. The stuff I see people ride down Spider Mountain, man. Like they've got the old school Springer seats and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, how are you? They're writing it down, double black stuff. I'm like, you're gonna die. You're totally gonna die. It's scary.
Especially like if they don't have the right tires and then they just shred one of the tires and they just go OTB or something over the bars. For Chug's like, what are you talking about? OTB, ODB?
Oh, I picked it up.
That's funny.
ODB.
ODB.
There you go.
He died, right? ODB.
Did he?
Yeah, he died like 10 years ago or something.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I might be just making up shit. I don't know.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You are correct.
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of Wu-Tang back in the day. Wu-Tang. So speaking so speaking of YouTube, man, like I know you did some videos for a while there, and like how's that going? How you taking a break from that, or just kind of just?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of towards the end of 2019, I started getting a little too like feeling just my own internal pressure of needing to put out content, and it was starting to become not as fun and more tedious and stuff like that. And then there was other stuff going on in the mountain bike community that really started wearing on me too. And I was starting to lose my joy for riding and for the brotherhood and the camaraderie that comes with mountain biking and stuff.
Right.
So the process is shooting the video is one thing, setting up maybe some different shots and whatnot. But then, the editing process is, man.
Yeah.
For a 10-minute video, I easily spend 15 to 20 hours on it. Especially if you're OCD about stuff and things have to be just so. And you're just like, I have this great footage, but I don't want to friggin' sit here for all week editing it,
Right.
So
that's why.
Go ahead. Put it down for a minute.
No, and that's good that you were able to realize that and actually be aware of it and put it down, because if I would imagine with some people it can consume them, especially if they are focused on the amount of followers or subscribers they have.
Yeah.
Like early on when I first started this, I kind of came in with the idea of just doing it just for fun. And but for a little bit there, I kind of started getting into the metrics of it as far as like the numbers. You can go in the YouTube studio and you can see like, and then I kind of like stopped myself. I was like, you're kind of getting like away from the reason why you're doing it. And like, I really try to, and it's also real easy. I found that you just by impression or like the human nature being impressionable, you try to make videos sometimes, like especially in the beginning, you're trying to find like your style, your style of making videos, because you don't want to be like other people, but at the same time, you almost feel like, this is me personally speaking, but I almost feel like in order to get the subscribers, I have to be like those people. You know what I mean? I have to be like in the Seth Spike Hacks, just the more notable YouTubers out there, and you kind of start drifting into that. And I found myself when I started trying to do that, I didn't like it because it wasn't me.
Right.
And so I just I put a disclaimer on my YouTube channel like, hey, I forgot, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines like, I'm going to try to put out a video a month. You know what I mean? This is kind of like, I get to when I get to it, just kind of letting, if anybody watches it, they'll know that to be expecting a video every week. Because a video every week, that's, like, I understand that'd be the overall goal. No, I don't want to do a video a week personally, at least not right now, because that's just too much. It takes away from writing. Like you said, it's a lot of video editing.
It's a lot of work, man.
And then
it gets to be tedious.
Yeah, and then it's a pain in the ass just every time you go out and you put the camera on and you have to look at the angle, and then you're like in the parking lot for like 15, 20 minutes trying to get everything right, and then you can start writing. And so a lot of times I'll go out without a camera and I'll just ride, you know what I mean? And then, but yeah, I understand it, man. I understand like that part of it.
Yeah, I was getting stretched too thin, man.
Here.
Oh, okay. We got a newbie question over here. Yes, sir. You in the back. Yes, sir.
Yes. So I am in the market for a camera now because I don't want to keep dropping my phone. What would be a good starter camera, like to be able to mount on my bike?
GoPro.
Yeah, GoPro. I would
It's gonna
say
be
a 4 or newer, or 5 or newer.
even sevens. You should be able to find some good deals on sevens.
Yeah, this is what I got right now. It's a 7, a GoPro Hero 7. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Actually, this one's broken right now. I actually have to send it back to GoPro if they would actually accept it, because they're kind of being pain in the asses right now. But I crashed at Spider, and this thing was on my head. You know, it was looking like a Teletubby. And when I crashed, it went flying off. And now, like, when I ride, like, when we went to Seguin 2 days ago, because they were having a woman, my wife, she signed up for a jump class, which I was surprised about. But anyways, we went, and I tried to record it, like, to use it, and it was just like when it's trying to focus or zoom in, you can hear it on the audio, like the zzz, you know. And I tried explaining that to GoPro, and they had me upload a video, but I haven't heard anything back yet. Anywho, you could right now they have they're coming out with the newest one is the Hero 8, and I could put up a picture of it, and then the newest one, there's like rumors about the Hero 9. So the Hero 7 is a good camera. It's got the hyper smooth, so that keeps everything stable, because the 6 and below, when you're riding, you can see the camera shaking and stuff, and it's almost like a Blair Witch project for people who are watching it. You know, and kind of probably getting nauseous and shit. You know, like trying to watch your video.
Yeah.
But so I would like Patrick said, a Hero 7 would be great. Hero 7.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them for as cheap as like $250.
250? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. But at the same time, I mean, it's gonna be, you kind of get what you pay for. You know what I mean? And I would also probably recommend going to Amazon, and get one of these windscreens.
Yeah.
They don't last very long. Like, I just ripped this one because it got caught on a branch, and this was like brand new, which sucked. But this keeps a lot of the wind noise out of your videos. Because if not, like, you'll be riding here like, you know. I got my own sound effects over here.
I was just about to say, what's that sound like? How's
Yeah.
it going to get?
That's funny.
But
yeah, I mean, there's cheaper cameras you can find out there, but I've never. GoPros can really take a ton of abuse, man, and keep going.
Yeah,
it's worth the extra little bit you'll spend on it.
Right, and then they also have something you can buy, like, or you could pay for once a month. It's the GoPro Plus, and that gives you like cloud access where you can upload your stuff to the cloud, so you don't have to keep it on a computer. I don't know how much storage that is, but that's something you can go into and try to find out. Because one thing you're gonna, and I'm sure Patrick can attest to this, is one thing you're gonna run into quickly is storage, like, issues. Like, because the videos, they take up so much memory, or not memory, so much storage on your hard drive or your SSD or whatever, and you're gonna run out of that. And then, like, I got like external hard drives and all kinds of hard drives laying around.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people do. They'll buy like a 2 or 3 terabit external hard drive, and they'll put all their content on that.
Yeah.
Instead of putting it on the computer itself, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I got. I got a couple of externals. But either way, first things first, camera. And then I do all my, I mean, not like I need to work on more angles, but I do all my stuff with one camera. Some people have like multiple cameras, which is cool. I don't have that in my budget right now to buy multiple GoPros.
No, they're not cheap, man.
They're not. And then mountain bike is not cheap either.
No.
I know. I chose the most expensive shit to do. I mean, I used to be a car enthusiast. I was working on imports when I was younger. But military and stuff like that, that kind of, and then it got expensive quick, especially if you blow an engine.
Yeah, anytime the wife gives me grief about my mountain bike hobby, I'm like, just be glad I'm not into hot rods, because
Yeah.
we're talking some serious cheddar.
Yep. Hell yeah, man. And then parking, speeding tickets, and all kinds of shit comes along with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, mountain biking I think it brings a lot of people that were into that when they're younger, because it offers that same type of thrills and like adrenaline rush that comes with that. And then you're kind of like tweaking. It's like a car, but you're tweaking a bike. You're kind of customizing it with bars or whatever.
Tinkering.
Yeah, you just keep tinkering around with it, and for me personally, that I enjoy working on my bike for the most part, depending on what I'm doing on it, as much as I do riding it, because it's just that therapeutic for me. I'm kind of messing around and trying to figure it out and stuff like that, but not the same for everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy the customization part of stuff and new parts and stuff like that. But like working at a bike shop now, I work on bikes all the time. And so now I know what they mean when like, if you're an auto mechanic or something, like you work on a car all day long, but you drive the biggest hunk of shit because you don't want to work on your own car.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just kind of like tapped out as far as like, So tell me about that, dude. How's it working in a bike shop? I mean, politics aside, but especially right now.
Dude, we selling bikes like crazy, man. So I was hired on primarily to just build all these new bikes that were coming in, So like when COVID hit, we were selling anywhere from 60 to 90 bikes a day.
Damn.
Or, I'm sorry, a week, not a day.
Oh, I was gonna say, holy shit.
Yeah, my bad.
How many
it's all blurring together, man. Yeah, Chuck's flipping out. Holy shit, man.
I knew it was bad, but not that bad. Good God.
No, man, 60 to 90 a week, which is still a crazy amount. And so on average, in about an 8 to an 8.5 hour work day, I can build anywhere from, depending on how complex the bike is or how much additional setup it needs aside from just the assembling, like indexing gears, things like that, anywhere from about 8 to 12 a day I can build, that's moving, man. Like you're stopping to take a leak, maybe shove some food down your face, and then you're back to building a bike again. Damn, and it gets to be, I was doing that 4 or 5 days a week. It's brutal, man. You're just wore out.
It sounds like you're working at Apple in China.
I almost paid as well. That's funny. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. But it's slowed down a lot, man. All the 2020s have been sold out. We're getting a handful of 2021s in now.
Yeah.
But then, most of those frames are made in China. And so you have all that stuff going on with China. And then they, like they'll ship us frames, but then they get held up at the port.
Yeah.
And you have to go through customs and whatever other nonsense politically is going on. And so it's been just a slow trickle.
Do they send a bag of seeds with it?
No, man. They're murder hornet eggs.
Murder hornet eggs.
Murder hornet maggots.
It's just
crazy
bananas,
times,
like,
man.
Yeah, I know. It's just like anytime, it's like always something. And it's like, fuck, man. That's a good thing, and it's the bad thing about information nowadays. It's so accessible. But at the same time, it's hard to filter out all the bullshit, and what's actually a real threat and what actually is a good, at least for most people. I think some of us that kind of are older, we can kind of sift through the bullshit, but a lot of people can't, and they just kind of take it as is, and then it's just like, the world's on fire,
Yeah, dude, I find myself constantly fact checking stuff and making sure that
what
I understand is the truth. And even then, you're still kind of like, what do you don't know, man. You just kind of have to.
I kind of got it real into the weeds, and Chuck and I have talked about this, but I got real into the weeds trying to understand some of the things that were going on, like, really trying to go like to different pages, different sources, and holy fuck, dude, It became kind of like
that can
overwhelming.
get
Go ahead.
overwhelming. It can get overwhelming. It can get overwhelmingly consuming. Like it could just it's never ending. If you want to keep looking for it, you could just this is why this happens, and then this is why this happens, and then they just go back to this and see why that happened.
Right. Yeah, and then I mean, not to get too much into the weeds on that, but yeah, I mean, like anybody else, just going back to YouTube, right? Everyone's trying to get subscribers, right? So if you think about it in a corporate sense, they're trying to get people. Because honestly, based off of if you look at the trends of things and the way things are going, major news outlets are starting. They've been losing face for a while, so they're always constantly trying to. It's like with any product. You're constantly trying to make it salacious so people want it and want to see it. So they make stuff that's clickbaity and gets your attention. That's why there's always like breaking news. It's like,
yes,
you know what I mean? So after a while, it's kind of
it gets old, man.
Attention. Yep.
I've tried watching. I try to be fairly well-rounded in where I get my information source, and not just. And it doesn't matter what channel you're on, whether it's Fox, MSNBC, or wherever, man. There's always just ding ding, this instant just headlining news, and it's usually just some biased opinion about whatever, and so
what I love is the fucking analysts they have on there. It's just kind of like you hear what X person said, right? And then they have we have an expert in here, so an analyst and. This is what he's saying. He's actually saying this, and I'm like, dude, I understand English. I know what the hell he's saying. I don't need you to break it down and parse it for me. But I mean, I guess some people need that. But whatever.
Yeah. Let me pick the brain about this. So I mean, what they're saying. What are your guys in Beirut?
Say that again. You came in broken.
Oh, I said, what do you? That's what they are saying. What do you think about what happened in Beirut? That explosion.
I don't know, dude. I avoided watching it for a little bit because I was kind of like, what the fuck, man? Is it 1984 again? When Beirut was a terrorist. So that kind of, and then when I saw the actual I saw a clip of it. I forgot where I saw it, but just the explosion. My first thought was like, what the fuck was that? And then to hear the little bit of, I don't know the exact, because I haven't broken it up and I haven't dove into it. But on the surface, from what they're saying is that they had 25,000 or 100 tons of ammonium nitrate that they seized. And they've had it in there for 6 years. And the way it exploded was somebody was welding. I'm like, why the fuck did they have that much ammonium nitrate in one building? It was just like a time bombing, essentially, waiting to happen. But I don't know, man. I can't really go off of unfortunately, I can't really just go off of that information. I would have to dive deep into it to actually understand it. But that was a hell of an explosion, dude. I've seen explosions, and that was a fucking big one.
Ocular.
It's the what?
Yeah, just the ocular. I was like, the ocular, just looking at it, and it was just like, okay, it's like sucked in and in it.
Yeah, and it was kind of like 2 in 1. But I've never seen that much ammonium nitrate explode either. But it definitely looked different. It looked different, and it looked like it could have been okay. I'll just say what the most common person would say. It looked like it was like a small nuke or something. That's why it exploded, and the way the mushroom cloud and everything. You have the blast, and then you have the mushroom cloud afterwards. It could have been that too. Maybe. I mean, it's not like they're actually be able to track all this shit from Russia and all these other nuclear powers or at once. Because when the Soviet Union fell, a lot of their arms and stuff went missing, or they got sold on the black market. So I don't know, man. The world we live in today, there's no telling. Going back to the YouTube thing, man. So are you gonna pick that up again, or are you just gonna kind of just let it come in back naturally if it does, or you have
I mean, you had COVID and that kind of, it gave me a good opportunity to take a break, and then and to get back to riding and stuff like that. Once, like I said, a lot of it was between the drama in the mountain bike community, which was stupid because this is supposed to be fun.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I can imagine just anytime you get different personalities together or just different backgrounds, you're going to have friction eventually. But
some of it was Bandera. Bandera Bike Park that was a big kick in the balls for myself personally. I spent a lot of time out there.
Yeah, I know you and others did as well. And I have my own personal experience with that as far as like the thing, because I heard rumblings about it, but I didn't really. I'm kind of one of those people that is kind of like, for the most part, like I'll wait and see until something personally affects me. Not in the sense of being naive, but I have been in the past where somebody was like, "Oh, watch out with so and so," or this or that, and then I find that not to be true, and that person was just throwing shade for whatever reason. But so fast forward or reverse in this point, yeah. But my personal experience with that place was, I'll just say, I don't give a fuck. The owner was an asshole. My personal experience, that's what I heard before. But then I saw it like twice, and I was like, all right, I'm you know what I mean? It would sucks too because it closed, and I had a season pass, so I didn't even get to use that. I think I got to use it like one time, and then I had to pay for the park fee too because it was during the enduro race. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was pretty, and I haven't said anything about it publicly, but I was pretty pissed off about what Seth had to say. His public statement that he put out, because it was complete nonsense. Oh, he blamed San Antonio ridership and stuff, and I'm like, well, if everybody who's gone out there and has dealt with the owner has come back and said the guy's a jackass, and then not to mention the racial stuff that he's nonsense he's said to people too, that's probably a pretty good reason why it failed.
Right.
And then there's other drama that went on as far as the building and how, it was. Pretty much from start to finish, the place was nothing but drama.
Damn.
And a lot of people put a lot of time and energy into that place to try to help it get off the ground. And that guy just fucked people over left and right, man.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the gist I got from it. And I think I remember what post you're talking about. And that was kind of, I didn't understand that either when I saw that, but I was like, well, maybe he's more privy to information that I don't know of, or maybe that's just me trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I really don't know Seth. He seems cool for the most part, but when I saw that message, I was just like, well, maybe I didn't see it the way I was supposed to, but I know the owner for a fact. I don't know him like personally, but based off what I saw, what I heard from other people, and then when I saw me personally, I was like after the enduro race, I was done. I was like, I'm not gonna spend any more money here. I'm not gonna tell anybody to come here, just because you can't have a business. And it sucks too because that place had a lot of promise as far as like because Chuck. So in the hill country, that like Texas is mainly flat for the most part. But in the hill country, it's called the hill country, so there's a bunch of hills, so you're able to make lines off of it. And there's pretty good elevation there as well. So there was a bunch of like lines that were built by Patrick as well as other people that went out there and volunteered their time to build. And I'm not really like, you don't have to get into it if you don't want to. But long story short, the work that was put in was not reciprocated or appreciated by the owner, maybe because for whatever personal reasons he had. But that kind of just set, like, it's like having a splinter in your hand, and it just gets worse over time because it just gets compounded with different issues. And it didn't seem like, my personal thing was, I saw the owner and he just kind of seemed like, this is my land, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, and I don't care what anybody says. Like,
he was extremely arrogant and pompous for sure. And condescending too. He always thought everybody was beneath him.
Yeah, so that's what I saw, and that was only after a few encounters, but that's unfortunate because I think he really missed out on a thriving business that's going on right now. Yeah, it was hindered because of COVID, But going back to you talking about the bike shop and how many bikes you sold, what was it like 100 in a day or what was it?
No,
100 a day?
yeah, dude, it was 100 in a day. No, it was like 60 to 90 in a week.
Yeah.
That's what they were selling.
So that's the demand for bikes, especially with COVID. And so you brought up something earlier that we touched on the show is that COVID actually, and it sounds like it did the same for you. It gave people time to kind of reset and look at things from a different perspective and like within themselves. And it sounds like because I'll call it like it is, and maybe most people that have never left San Antonio don't understand this because they don't. So they're always constantly in this bubble, which is fine. But if you leave like Texas and you go, I don't know, overseas to Germany or you go to, I don't know, New York or Boston or whatever, the lifestyle is a lot different. The community is a lot more healthy. They run, they bike, they walk, they all kinds of stuff. In San Antonio, I'm from here originally, and this has never been, up until recently, it hasn't been, like I said, the past 10 years, hasn't really been a city that's kind of had an infrastructure for those activities because people make the excuses it's too hot or just like a healthy lifestyle was always balked at, you know what I mean, and any other lifestyle like drinking or whatever, and I'm not knocking those either, but that was more sensationalized as opposed to drink you, thank you Chuck. But having said that, like right now is a great opportunity. If you have any land and you had the elevation, you could pretty much like Jimmy at Flat Rock, he has the motto of like the right way to do it. He's a good person. He's a writer himself. He opens up his place at a very minimal fee, I feel, and it offers a lot of trails. Chug, when you come down here, I can take you up there, but we got to kind of get your stamina up before we go over there. I don't want you dying.
That's what she.
That's what he said. What are you talking about? Equal rights, man.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Yeah, dude, Jimmy's a good guy, man.
Yeah, he is.
Jimmy did it right.
Yeah, he's doing it right, and I'm sure we all have ridden with him a lot, and he has those dig days as well. But and then we have Spider Mountain now. I still need to check out like Kerrville. I need to go to Reveille Peak. I haven't been there yet.
That place it's legit, man. I haven't ridden the new line they have out there, that big ass jump line.
Yeah, that reminds me. Like, so there's
other
a jump
lines up there are really good.
Yeah, I want to go check that out. And I signed up for the Camp Eagle Enduro, so I've never been out there. So I need to go. Yeah, I've heard good things about it though.
Yeah, dude. I've heard the climbs are supposed to be brutal.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. But I think on this Enduro specifically, there's no climbs. Well, it says the climb's not included, but you still got to climb either way. It's not like there's a chairlift up there.
I think he's going to do shuttles.
Is he?
I thought so. I thought he was going to do a shuttle format.
Look at that, man. I'm fucking doing the race. I don't even know the details. I'm just going to show up. I was thinking about sleeping just going to sleep in my car with a sleeping bag.
Nice.
So speaking of trail building, I know that's an art.
Show out.
I know that's an art form in its own. I haven't done much trail, but I have helped with trail building, but like early on. So I that's something I want to learn, just for another avenue of like understanding like where the runoffs are supposed to be, like so that when it rains, the water doesn't jack up the trail or the what you built. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to learn about that. So speaking of trail building, I know one of the reasons we had you on here. What position do you actually hold with S.T.O.R.M? Like,
I am the sergeant at arms.
Sergeant at arms. So that sounds like a military structure. Do a lot of people in that program, are they prior military?
I don't think any of them are.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think any of them are.
Okay, that's usually like what you hear is sergeant at arms. Like that's the first thing I think about is like the structure.
Yeah, it's structure where you have a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer and a sergeant at arms.
Okay, so what does the sergeant at arms do within S.T.O.R.M?
I'm supposed to keep order during meetings, which obviously it doesn't get out of hand very often.
Yeah. Do you have a whistle?
I need one. I need one. I need a whistle and a bag of popcorn to throw at people when they get out of control.
What's that? Chuck said something. I don't know what he said. So
throw a flag.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Face with a flag.
Oh, a flag. Oh yeah, like a referee. Just don't do it like when he threw it there one time and it took out that freaking NFL player's eye.
Oh shit.
That's when they banned it. That's why they have to throw it straight up now. Yeah, I know. They should have some goggles.
That's funny.
Like Eric Dickerson in the '90s with those thick ass goggles. So like, what's like? So when okay, so what is S.T.O.R.M? Like, if you were like, just pretend like we're brand new to Chug is. So what does S.T.O.R.M do?
So basically, they are an advocacy group to help bring awareness to the city and community of San Antonio of what mountain biking is, its benefits, how to get new trail built and established, and kind of just another way to inform the community of other ways to get healthy besides just, say, running and things like that.
Right. Well, that's good because that's what every community needs, but more so here. Like, how often do you guys like meet and like, is it open to everyone or do you have to be a member?
Yeah, right now, just because of what's going on, it's a little bit different, but they did have monthly meetings. It was the first Monday of every month, and it was open to the public, and you could come and they would go over. It's a pretty structured meeting, and so it's usually about 2 hours long. They'll go over what was covered in the last meeting that may have gotten not fully addressed to address in this meeting, and they'll go over the finances, upcoming projects, meetings that are future city meetings, things like that. Just it's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that I think most people don't realize, just how fluid the mountain biking scene in San Antonio is, and just how many different there's so many balls in the air,
right?
And it's pretty neat to see some of the behind the scenes stuff, you know.
Right.
Most people just throw the bike in their truck and they go ride, you know, and then
right.
they don't give a whole lot of thought to where the trail came from, or how it's maintained, or you know, or anything like that. So it's pretty eye opening.
So do you get to see how the sausage is made?
Yeah, more or less.
In a way, or
yeah,
throwing your whatever product. So some of the like so when I first heard, he's having a good time over there.
Time for sausage.
Time for sausage. I bet you like that, huh?
Breakfast.
Yeah, I bet.
No bread though. No bread.
So let me ask you this question. So when I first kind of came into the right, like, which is fairly recent, a couple years ago, a little over a couple years ago, and I first started hearing about S.T.O.R.M, I'll be honest, I was kind of coming out of the military, and I really didn't want any type of. I was kind of like anti-organization, and I still am on some level in the sense of just. I got really fed up with the bureaucracy of things and like the slow moving, you know, cogs of, you know, of cities or any type of municipality in that's present. So I'll be honest, I kind of just went along with the common thing that, at least, I mean, I'm not really sure if some of the things that people were saying were founded or unfounded. I'm not really sure if like this new regime's the same way or it's the same way as the old regime, or if there is even a new regime or vice versa. But a lot of things I heard were they didn't like S.T.O.R.M because they don't build things that are like they just try to keep things. And I want to ask you this: is there certain criteria to building a trail that you can't go past? Like you can't have any gaps, or you can't build anything. Like you have to build it just for like all. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Is there any type of things that restrictions they put on you guys when you're trail building? Like you can't do this, you can't do that, or you can't do this, you can't do that.
No, like out at Devil's Den, we pretty much had free reign to do just about anything we wanted to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I wish we could have gotten more of the community involved. That's one of the main reasons why I got involved with S.T.O.R.M, because I felt like there was this disconnect from, like you said, the old guard and the new guard. And so some of the previous leadership in S.T.O.R.M were a little more rigid and I think may have had a hard time with the progression that the sport was taking, going into enduro and free ride and stuff like that. And they were very cross country oriented, and that's really all they knew.
Right.
And so I think that's part of the reason why, because it's a lot easier to get the city on board with a cross country trail because it's not high penalty or there's not a whole lot of liability involved with just a straight curvy trail or whatever. But then with when Jeff and Brenda came on board, dude, they're open to pretty much, if you want to build it, let's put a proposal together and submit it and let's get it built.
Right.
They're not opposed to anything as far as advanced features, gaps, doubles, any of that stuff. Like it's just a matter of going through the process, which is what a lot of people have a hard time with is the process.
So the process,
we could have done pretty much anything we wanted. I wanted to get equipment out there and stuff, but it was a matter of submitting. We got approval to get equipment out there, but then we had to submit a request for it and all that stuff. Right. I mean, Devil's Den still has the potential to be something huge.
Right. But yeah, I've written out Devil's Den as well, and it does have a lot of potential. And even just riding up the Greenway from the south side from Bandera all the way there, you can see off to the side that there is some elevation there. You could get some stuff in and out of, especially along that creek bed. But hey, Chuck, Devil's Den is like just a different part of the trail system in San Antonio. So when we talk about Devil's Den or OCG, they're just different places to ride. Just so you're kind of just like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
Right.
But so that was one of the questions I had was, and like that's good to know, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have somebody from S.T.O.R.M or yourself on, is to answer some of these questions, just to kind of demystify some of the common things that are like being said out there. But at the same time, like I understand it from all aspects. Like, so speaking of the process, you guys also, and I would probably give S.T.O.R.M this credit. There's going to be a pump track being built at McAllister, right?
Yeah, ground is supposed to be getting broken on that. I think they've already started putting some equipment out there. I think they have a big storage unit or a shed or something like that, like a container or something out there. I think they're supposed to be breaking ground on that end of August, September, or something like that. I think it's supposed to be done before Christmas.
And what's the pump track going to be made out of? Is it dirt?
No, it's going to be asphalt. It's supposed to be done by Velo Solutions.
Shut up! I asked. Yeah. When we did the ride the other night, there was a female there. She said she was part of S.T.O.R.M. But she mentioned that, and I asked her that question, but I don't think she knew. I was like, "Is Velo's doing it?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." Well, which is fine. I don't expect her to know, but I was curious. But damn, dude, that'd be badass if Velo's does that.
Yeah, dude.
What is a pump track? What is a pump track?
So if you imagine, like, I always do these kind of things, but it's just pretty much, if you see it on TV, it's just like a bunch of little hills, and what it does is it allows you to get used to like pumping your bike and kind of gaining speed as you go through the pump track. And if you want to get fancy with it, you can even like time it perfectly. We can do like the gap the one of the pumps. It's pretty cool. Velos has tracks. They have them like in Bentonville. They have them on like a lot of the Red Bull circuits and stuff like that, which is, I mean, they're like if I could choose any company to do it, I don't know about the other companies out there, but Velos is one of the like top ones that I know of in my limited experience. So that's cool, man. Velos,
Yeah, they're
badass.
gonna put a pump track there, and then so as more as San Antonio grew more, construction got more expensive because they're on other projects, right?
Right.
And so it's been approved and fully funded for the pump track. And then I don't know if you've seen any of the uh, uh, what's the word I'm looking for, like the graphics that they've generated, so you can see a picture of what it's going to look like.
I saw
Um,
some of the earlier ones, but I haven't seen any of the later ones. If you could actually send me that, and I can put it up, like, as we're talking, I can put it up on the corner or something, like, so people can know what we're
yeah,
talking about. If it's not
yeah.
like classified or nothing.
No, no. This is. I think this was the last rendering that they did. And so you have the pump track in the very center, and then there's supposed to be an outer loop that's an intermediate loop, and it was going to have larger features, wall ride, stuff like that. But they ran out of money, so they have enough guaranteed for the pump track, but um, we still need to find some sort of funding for the outer loop.
So speaking of funding, like you mentioned that earlier, and I was like, I don't know, like, so how do you guys get funding? Does the city provide it like part of the budget, or do you have to just raise your own money?
It's all nonprofit, and so that was a question that got raised to me by someone else before too, where they were like, why do you guys need volunteers? I'm sure you guys could have the funding to pay people to go out and clear trail or keep trail, maintained and stuff like that. I'm like, no, bro, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So,
So that's good
so
we're
they,
having this so people know that it's a nonprofit and you guys are limited on funds.
yeah, they don't get any funding from the city or the government or anything like that. So there's a few different ways they get funding. So, most of the time it's going to be through, they do an annual, cross country race out at Flat Rock Ranch. And
What's that one
so,
called? Is that Gassy
uh,
Goat or
the Miles of Discomfort, I believe is what it's called.
okay?
And then, they do some swag sales. Like they have this thing called a excuse me, it's called a silly pint, and it's basically it's a pint glass, but it's made out of like this rubber material, and it's dishwasher safe, and you put your beer in it, keeps your beer cold and stuff. And so
Nice.
they, t-shirt sales, and the latest one we did is they're doing buffs, so like the face coverings where it's got,
Oh, okay.
and so like you can buy like five for $50, and you'll get the sixth one for free,
Oh, nice.
stuff like that. And then the other big push is for a membership. And so if you buy an annual membership, it gets you uh, benefits through IMBA, which is the International Mountain Biking Association. So they're basically they spearhead a lot of trail development all over the country. And so
Right.
that's kind of the next thing we would like to see, is get a trail here in San Antonio that's an IMBA trail, uh, and that's a big deal because that brings a lot of recognition to the city of San Antonio, the trail building that goes on here, and that can help with funding as well. The other REI, man, REI has been, they've donated thousands of dollars
Badass.
for 'em. Like they just got awarded, I think, another $6,000 grant, and that goes to buy equipment, water for trail work days, helps offset some of the cost of like gas and things like that.
Right.
Um, they've been huge, huge, and like all the maintenance that's going on out at McAllister right now, all
Hmm.
the pavers and stuff like that, where they're trying to work on erosion and stuff, help pay for that. Um, I've been getting a few pictures here and there from Brenda, the vice president, where she's gone out and bought these huge slabs of rock and stuff like that to have features put out there, trailside features and stuff. So
Nice.
the more progressive stuff that everybody's looking for and wanting to ride, it's coming. It's in the pipe. It's just a
Right.
process.
Okay, so that this is kind of what I'm gathering from all this, and I'm really glad to have you on, so you can kind of dispel a lot of this stuff. But it's you guys are actually are working on some of the things that people are looking for, and maybe I mean, right? It's like the demand the demand for it and like the way that this is growing here in South Texas, I would imagine it's everywhere. If it's just here, not only just here, but the demand for it is faster than it's pretty much happening quicker than the process can take to build all this stuff. So people just in general, if kind of you build it, they will come, and like there has to be some patience with that as well.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And that's one thing that I understand. Like I say, like I understand like from the different perspectives of like where everyone's coming from, whether like people building road trails. Like I understand it, like they're being like they want to ride and they want the stuff now. To the other side of it, where you need to have a face to speak for the mountain biking community, because if you don't have that face, then it's just going to be this constant friction with the city, and because the city doesn't operate, or any city municipality won't operate with people like, unless you're an organization, like an established organization where you can actually have these meetings and have this paperwork trail and meeting minutes and all this stuff, because the city does have to, at the end of the day, they have to answer to any type of injuries or accidents or anything, especially if it's their property as well. That if they own it, they have to bite the bullet on some of the stuff that happens, whether they had something to do with it or not. So it's a necessary, whether people like it or not, it's a necessary thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
And it's good to have, because obviously, I mean, some of the things I've seen is that they don't have enough volunteers, compared to the amount of riders that they're out there. But so hopefully this will shed some new light on it and bring some more people like coming around. However, they have to understand, the people that volunteer, that it is a process. It is a bureaucracy like anything else. So, but it's good to have a foot into it to understand like where things are going as far as the sport in the city and respectively. Because if not, like, if you don't have that, then associations like IMBA is not going to come here. Velos wouldn't be here, because they're not going to want to work. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are a nonprofit. Right. So that's another thing, is that people probably don't know, that you guys don't have the money like other, like Walmart, like Bentonville. They have a huge benefactor of Walmart.
Right.
One of the Walmart sons.
And that's the role that S.T.O.R.M plays, is basically, and that's where I get a little frustrated, because I was there too, and I didn't have a lot of nice things to say about S.T.O.R.M either. Like,
right.
Y'all continue to just put out cookie cutter stuff, man, and people get tired of riding the same stuff.
Right.
And I got tired of sitting in the corner bitching about something and not doing anything about it. And so I wanted to try to come in and be a voice for people who are looking for more progressive stuff to ride. And so I get into all that stuff with the other board members of S.T.O.R.M about, hey man, people want to ride this, and this type of stuff. And then they put a proposal together, and then they go talk, and they go do, man, they sit in countless meetings, man, countless meetings.
And that's taking time away from their families. That's taking time away from their writing. And I'm just trying to really paint a picture in the sense of, like, for the people to understand, like, these guys don't have to do this. They don't have to be part of this organization. It's about, I would imagine they're volunteering their time. They're 100%. Not getting paid for it. Yeah. So I'm just trying to, like, really encapsulate like what S.T.O.R.M is from all perspectives, and it sounds like they're trying to do the right thing with the limited amount of money and tools at their disposal.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is most of the people in the city government, they don't mountain bike, they don't ride. They might road ride, but that's a totally different animal. And unless you have someone who's able to kind of represent what we're looking for, and bringing that to the attention of the city, because it's one thing to go to the city and say, hey, there's a group of people that want to build this kind of stuff, and then they go, well, where's the funding? Because then the city has to go and they have to petition their constituents and be like, hey, we want to spend $3 million on a pump track, and they go, what the fuck's a pump track? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this and so, like I said, constantly keeping that relationship going and stuff like that. And so that's why when it comes to the road trail building and things like that, if it causes too many problems for the city, then that looks bad on the community, because all it takes is one or two people, and it can ruin it for a whole community.
Right.
So it can be a bit of a touchy situation, but it's it is the way it is, not because they're looking to be trail Nazis or stormtroopers, as some have called them and stuff like
Right.
that. Like it's understanding that it's a balancing act of trying to keep the mountain bike community as a positive thing for the city and not a liability thing for the city, you know?
Right. No, and that's one of the things, like kind of you said, you got involved because you wanted to actually see what was going on, and that's kind of why I wanted to have this conversation. I've been thinking about it for a while. I just didn't know of anyone that worked with S.T.O.R.M and would have feel comfortable enough, because there has to be some type of rapport if they're willing to come on here, because they, if they don't really know me and I'm kind of reaching out to them until we establish our own name in the sense of the podcast world or whatever. Then we'll start getting more people that
Right.
want to come on. Having said that, when I spoke with Adrian about it, he mentioned your name, and I was like, well, that's kind of my thing. Like, I got tired of letting other people kind of decide for me what S.T.O.R.M was. Or like, why not I just interview somebody and just trying to get more of an understanding of it and try to kind of form my own opinion of actually kind of asking the questions that I want to ask, and and get the response that we're
Right.
getting right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that's an opportunity for me to share some of that with, because I know there's a whole segment of the community that has just this really, they don't think very highly of S.T.O.R.M or think of them as this very overbearing governmental kind of thing or whatever. And it's not. All of them are mountain bikers just like the rest of us. They do more cross country stuff, but that's okay. And at the end of the day, these are people that they're donating their time and usually their personal money and stuff to try to. They're not the bad guys. They're doing the best they can with some of the limited time and resources that they have, and just keep that in mind before somebody gets trashed on Facebook or something like that.
And honestly, it's a lot easier. And I mean, people will probably have their own personal experience. Maybe they dealt with the older regime, or maybe they just kind of had like one of the things that I can't I'll hear often is when this. I don't know. We're trying to build something like last year, and it was meetings. People went to them, and then like nothing fruition from it, or something like that. And so that left people with a bad taste in their mouth. Maybe it was a year ago, 2 years ago. So
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I think some people have like their own personal experiences with it, but at the same time, I didn't want, kind of like with the Bandera Bike Park thing. I was kind of waiting to have my own experiences, and then I can form my own opinion based off of what I know, and not just kind of, because I was kind of going along with the crowd, like they would say Stormtrooper or whatever, like F.S.T.O.R.M or whatever, and I would kind of just like laugh along with it, because I was kind of going along, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that I was just kind of going with the flow of it and not even forming my own opinion and talking to anybody about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I threw some jabs at him, but like not in the sense of, it was kind of like half-hearted. It wasn't really like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
A lot of it's frustration too, because you just you want to ride new and exciting stuff, and that's why people go out and build their own stuff, because they get tired of waiting for the process.
Right.
I mean, you're never going to stop that sort of thing, but.
Yeah, I got you.
Almost every city will have some type of organization to kind of formally represent to the city governments and stuff like that. I don't think I've been to a city yet that has mountain biking as a pretty big, as a community there, that doesn't have some form of representation.
Right. And like we said earlier, we need to have, whether people agree with it or not, like we need to have that representation to bring in some of the bigger names like Velos. I'm really excited for that. When you said Velos, I got, I think I got a little chub going or something, it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to hear, because I kind of missed out when we went to Bentonville last time. I didn't end up going to the pump track because it rained, or I forgot why I didn't go, but I didn't end up going to the Velos pump track that day, and I kind of regret it. But yeah, man, that's exciting.
And then the golf course. So over there at OP.
Yeah, that's another one.
I think I don't know, that may have been something that kind of deflated some of the air out of the room, because the city got a bond in order to buy the property, but didn't have the property was somewhere between $3 and $5 million. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any money left over to actually develop the land. We have to wait for the next budget and the next bond to get voted on for there to be money to actually fund putting any features on it. But there's a conceptual map of that too. It's going to have a skills area and a pump track and stuff like that too.
Oh, so the city actually bought the land already?
Yeah, they bought the land.
Oh, wow.
The land's been acquired.
Right.
Now, but it's going to be probably, I think 2022 is when the next bond is. And then by the time they do all the environmental studies and get a contractor and all that stuff, it'll probably be 2024, 2025 before that's actually a rideable area, you know?
And
so that's the fight too.
Yeah, so for some people that don't know about, like, as far as like in the military, or like when my last unit, we used to have to send the POM, which is to Congress, and that's pretty much saying like what our budget is for the next 5 to 10 years. The city has to do that as well for constituents and transparency. So if you're, unfortunately, I'm just trying to paint like a picture for people that may not know these things, but if it's not in that POM or that budget, it makes things a lot more difficult for something that's not required as mission essential for the city, so to speak, because they're trying to like upgrade, like, you know, like water systems and civil engineering projects or what have you, and then you have something that's not really looked at as a priority. I mean, yeah, it's a priority from a health stance, and maybe it should be put up higher than a priority if we're going to look at health. But in the sense of, if you say that they're not mountain bikers, or they don't have a tie into the community, then they're kind of going to be kind of, oh, that's not really important right now. We got all this other stuff that's more of a priority.
Right.
So that's going to take a little bit more time. So I guess the underlying message to the rest of the community is just like, try to practice patience and understanding. If you have questions, you know, try to ask them. And if you don't have your personal experiences, try to seek out, you know, or try to join or go to a couple of meetings once it's available again, and try to ask your own questions, and then go from there. But I do appreciate you from the sense of understanding that you wanted to make a change or see a change, so you kind of join, like, you know what, I'm tired of being on the sidelines. I want to get part of this and try to see what's really going on, the inner workings of it, because a lot of people aren't willing to spend their personal time to go to meetings and pretty much join the bureaucracy of what dealing with the city or any municipality is. So that's cool. It's kudos to you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. I know it's
not
like
popular. You too. I had heard all these things, and then I had heard about some things they were trying to get done too, and I, like you, kind of want to go out and get my own answers, you know?
Right. And that's what most people should do. They shouldn't rely on other people to kind of just form their opinions. And that's not even just mountain biking. That's everything.
Right.
They should try to formulate their own opinion by doing their own research. It's a lazy way of thinking, and I was doing it, and I got tired of doing it. So that's why we're having this, you know, this podcast right now, and trying to get more.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you taking the time on your day off and spending, you know, hour and change with us, man. Chug, you have any questions? Yeah, Chug, you have any questions or have anything you want to talk about? If you don't come in broken.
No, man, I'm just here, you know, transition in my broken.
There you go. There you go. Chug's on his day off too, so he's getting the festivities started a little bit early.
That's that fancy orange juice.
Oh yeah. I just got.
I got a couple of ideas for some videos. I want to get back into it, but I definitely don't want it to take away from the joy of mountain biking, you know?
Dude, so just do what I mean, you don't have to do what you can do whatever you want, but just push out videos whenever. Don't set any fucking timelines, or don't try to be like, and just let the video develop on its own. And if it's not the same as your last video, then so what? There's such a breadth of like people out there that you're gonna grab your audience is gonna grab it. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. Like, I'm gonna put out videos how I want to make them, and then if it's good enough, people will come watch it. And if they're not, then, you know, because I'm really not trying to become something else, and then I end up becoming like getting away from what I want to create. You know what I mean?
Right. And that
So
was kind of the rabbit hole I was starting to go down, where I was like you said, I was getting into the analytics of stuff, and because when I graduated from school, I went like a year plus before I found work. I don't know why, but
right,
and so I was
just happened
thinking
that
maybe
way.
YouTube. Yeah, I was thinking YouTube might be a way to generate a little bit of income, help me pay a bill or something like that, right? And so I got super focused on trying to build a following and things like that without um, without being like that guy, you know. Like
Right.
I wanted to put out the best content I could and hope that that would be what brought people to the channel. But man, growing a YouTube channel is, dude, this shit is so hard.
It is.
I
It
don't
is.
I don't know how people get a million subscribers and stuff. Like, how does this happen? I mean, I get it because I'm a subscriber and I watch this stuff, but I
Right.
didn't know how I could do that. You know?
Yeah. Like I'm only at 77 right now, man. And like I said, for a while I was kind of like, oh man, whatever. But then I was kind of like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to put the content how I want to put it, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I definitely don't want it to. I definitely understand how it can consume you in the sense of trying to like compete with other people as far as they've been around for 2 years and they already have 500,000 subscribers. I only have X
Right.
amount. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that I found is that people's attention span is so fucking limited. Like they'll watch a video for like 1 minute or like a minute. You see on your videos that show how long
Yep.
people have watched it,
Yep.
and it's kind of like God, man. Because I try to create my content, and especially more so lately, to it's like a movie where you can like watch it and then like stuff kind of unfolds itself as you watch, but you gotta watch the whole thing. If not, you're gonna,
Right.
you know. But I don't know. But to
I
each
get
his own.
questions
The
all the
episodes together.
time, man. Like I did a helmet comparison video for the Bell,
Oh yeah, that was a good video, dude.
and thanks, man.
Yeah.
And it's like I get questions all the time. People asking questions that are answered in the video, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why did I watch the video? It's in the. And I finally started. I saw. I think yesterday or day before, somebody made a comment, and I finally started attaching a timestamp. I'm like, your answer's here. Timestamp such and such.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. No kidding,
Smart.
man. Like I know, and sometimes I try to come off on not like I think if I were to get that question after a while, you try not to be a dick about it, but at the same time, you're kind of like, dude, I put all this time to create this video, and you
Right.
can't at least just pay attention long enough to.
Right.
It's a tutorial for what you're asking,
Yes.
but yeah,
Exactly.
you're being lazy and you want to ask me the question and try to have me answer it. Take more time out of my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I answer
Give me
it,
the
but then
cheat
when I figured
code.
out I
Give
could
me the
attach the
cheat code.
timestamp, I'm like, this is easy now.
Yeah. Give me the cheat codes.
Right.
Hey, Game Sharky for me, man. Game Sharky. Yeah, that's older.
But I have fun with it, man. I switched over from Maxxis tires over to Michelin's, and
Dude,
I'm digging those, man. I'm digging those tires.
I really
I think
want
I'm
those
gonna do a
tires.
review on those.
I know I had Vittoria Martellos, but I wasn't aware that they had an enduro casing because when they were new tires, I had a lot. I heard people like saying good things about them. Like, yeah, check it. And the tread pattern looks good, but I shredded them in fucking Spider within my first. Well, I had like 25, maybe like 50 miles on them. I went to OCG, and within like just one of the short like little at Parkwood, the enduro lines, I punctured the sidewall. So
Oh,
yeah, and then I put more air in it, whatever. I put a plug in it, and then I took it to the Spider, and then I ended up like I had like 26 in the rear, and I ended up rim striking a couple of times, and I put like 30 in there, 20 to 30, and that helped, but I ended up still rim striking. So it's like the casing was too soft or whatever. So long story short, I luckily Crossroads hooked it up. You know, they gave me a store credit, and I was able to use that for like maintenance or something on my bike or whatever. But
cool.
but that's a tire combination I want to go with is the because Jonathan Hagerman from the Drift Ever Project, he was running those on his bike, and they look really aggressive. They look badass, especially with the writing on the side.
Mhm.
And yeah, so let me know. You said you love them already?
Yeah, I've only had one ride on them, and it was a big difference from the Maxxis.
And
Like I
which
was
one?
running, my Maxxis was the DHF in the front and the DHR2 in the
Double
rear.
downs?
No, these were
3C?
uh, in the front. In the front, it's a 3C. In the rear, it's a 2C.
Okay.
in the and in the and what's odd too is the DHF in the front was a 2.5, and the Michelin they don't make a 2.5, they only make a 2.4, but
Okay.
it's in a little heavier duty casing with stiffer side knobs, so the edge knobs right on the DHF, man, they're like super squishy, really
Right.
a lot of movement to them, and so that's what I was feeling is I was starting to as I'm getting more aggressive in my riding style and stuff and trying to learn how to push in and out of corners,
Mm-hmm.
you could feel the tire want to start wandering, man, where it felt like it was going to wash out, dude. And
Right.
it's scary as hell, man, because you're coming down a line doing 20 something miles an hour. That's a
27,000.
collarbone, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
right? I got my numbers all messed up.
Yeah.
I'm doing 100 bikes a day doing 20,000 miles an hour down a trail.
I broke Mach 1.
Right?
Yeah.
88 miles an hour.
88 miles an hour. I
Boy,
went
my
back in time. I saw Duck Brown.
But yeah, man, the side knobs on these Michelins, they're a lot stiffer, and I feel like that loose over hard, it moves that loose stuff out of the way and gets you into the hard pack a lot faster. So when I say loose over hard, I'm talking about like you have uh, like sandy material over the top of a dirt surface that's hard packed underneath. Like if you walk on it,
Okay,
you know
shocking.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so a lot of times,
That sounded kind of kinky.
hey man, it's not that kind of podcast.
Hey, that's later. That's the after hour special.
The after party.
That's the after party.
I'm getting
Yeah,
ready
so,
for the party.
so,
You won't be disappointed, man. There's solid tires, man. Solid
so
tires.
there's two different compounds, right, for the Michelin tires. There's like, so what are those two? Do you know them?
So they have the Magi grip, MAGI, Magi X, Magi
That,
X. That's what it
that
is.
those sound naughty, man. But yeah, I'm
It is.
interested.
Um, and it's supposed to be their stiffer compound. We're getting naughty.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to fast forward this to the night. Let's see what's my night background. Put some cheap like 70s porn music on here. Yeah, man. But those tires look fucking sexy. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if we're gonna keep going in this direction, they look pretty sexy.
I've gotten past the look stage of stuff. I'm looking for functionality. I don't want to
Right.
die. I want to be able to rip a corner and not die.
Right. No. When I say sick, like, yeah, they look nice, but they also, that's what I'm looking for, is because
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn, like, where I got real comfortable on berms is at Angel Fire. I was riding with not only the Dirt Derby project, but on a few runs on the first day, and I was riding a stump jumper. Excuse me. I'm actually doing it. I'm almost finished with the review for the stump jumper. And I just got to put it because I threw like a little intro, like a 25-second intro. I'm just kind of playing with it, like when at the start of every video, I have like an intro and then kind of like the video and then whatever afterwards. But anywho, I'm almost done with that, but I got real comfortable riding with the rider. And I think that would be with anybody. If you're riding with better riders, then you're going to get more confidence because you can see what they can do and you'll be like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. And that's what happened to me when I heard Big Bird. He was talking about, yeah, I'm not even hitting the brakes anymore in the berms. I heard that and I was just like, I'm gonna try this shit. So I was following them and I was able to stay up with at least I stayed up with all of them, but I had to slow down because I almost ran into the rear of one of them because he almost hit a tree on one of the berms. Yeah, I got it on video. Yeah, I got it on video. But anywho, so once I got to that comfortability as far as hitting the berm, but they have big berms, dude. It was not like the little berms here. Like the little berms here, you gotta kind of be a little bit more careful. You kind of got to like stay up on the bike, but kind of just lean the bike over, and that kind of bites into it.
Right.
But there, you could actually lean like your whole body and everything and go into the berm, and it's pretty badass. Anywho, but I know what you're saying. I'm more about functionality now, but if it looks sexy, then that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Um, for me, anyways. Um, and I'm actually getting a new rear wheel because I fucked up my Hope wheel on my hardtail. I I was doing an urban ride and I somebody took off the grates off the sidewalk, where the water flows under, and I forgot about it when I was riding back. I was probably going like 15, and I saw it, and I tried to bunny. There was three of them, and I didn't want to go OTB, so I bunny hopped it, but I bunny hopped too late, and my rear tire fucking
Oh,
slammed in the steel grate, and I
dude,
bent
that
my.
could have been so bad.
It could have been, man. It could have been.
Ooh.
So work on your bunny hops. They'll save you sometimes.
Are you running
On
Kush?
the pump track.
Yeah, or the pump track. Go ahead.
Are you running Kushcore?
I was running. No, I'm not running Kushcore. I was running the Huck Norrises, and they served me well for a while because I love the idea that on the side on the trail or off to the trail I could do like if I take my tire off for whatever reason I could because I know Kushcores can be a bitch to take off. At least that's kind of like the general understanding as I see people with Kushcores complaining about them.
And there's a tutorial video on how to do it, and it's not that bad. It's definitely not. It's definitely easier to do to swap out a tire without it for sure. But the benefits of having it, man, are they're huge.
Yeah, I may go with a Victoria Airliner. I saw those and they look like a little bit thicker, like a thicker Huck Norris.
Like a pool noodle.
Yeah, yeah. So the Huck Norrises, I mean the Huck Norrises, the
Kushcore?
Cushcore, right? The those bad boys are pretty heavy, right? But because I want to use my hardtail for like I want to start dirt jumping. I want to go over to the graveyard and like start doing that stuff, and I don't want it to get too heavy in the sense, and not to say it
Yeah.
will get real heavy, but because I didn't want to have to buy a dirt jumper, you know what I mean, just specifically for that. So I was like, why don't I
Right.
just use my hardtail? And I talked to what's it, Ricky? I talked to Ricky out there, and he was like, yeah, man, there's people on mountain bikes too, so just come whenever. So that's kind of what I have that for. It's kind of like my multi-purpose urban ride kind of bikes and stuff. Speaking of which, are you gonna go to Ramp It Up Saturday?
I am.
Nice.
I'll be
We're
there.
gonna be out there too. So
Sweet.
that'd be cool. So if anybody's listening to this, I'm gonna try to have this out before Saturday, but we'll see what happens. With my schedule, what have you. But Ramp It Up is gonna be at. If you've ever done the urban rides, if anybody here local is listening, if you ever the urban rides, we're gonna meet at the Brackenridge Park, but it's right next to the animal shelter. I think it's like Animal Defense League shelter. And we're going to use that parking lot right next to the football stadium or track stadium, however you want to see it. And we're going to be in that area. So if you're out Saturday night, I believe,
Yep.
we're going to
Saturday
do
at
that.
7.
I'm excited, dude, because it's going to be at night. So, hey, Chuck,
Yeah.
so the wrap it up is pretty much we're going to be sending it off of over a guardrail into an embankment. I don't know if it's an embankment, but it's like a I don't
Yeah.
know. We're gonna have pictures and videos, I'm sure, from that day. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be at night, and we're just gonna be
I'm staying
sessioning.
tuned.
Yeah, man. Stay tuned, man. But yeah, man. We covered quite a bit, and I hope you had a good time. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
dude,
good
this has been a
information.
good time, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And if you ever want to come back on and
I'm
discuss
soaking up
different,
more information.
what's up? You're
Nice.
soaking up the information.
I'm writing it down, taking notes. Find out
There
what
you
a
go.
pump check is. That GoPro to all that.
GoPro pump track. I think that's what he said. But yeah, man. I know you got a dinner appointment or a lunch appointment, not dinner. And yeah, man. But thanks for your time. Thanks for being on. And
For sure, man. Absolutely. I
yeah,
enjoyed it. Thanks for
I'll
having me.
yeah, man. I'll send you a
Nice
link.
to meet
You too, man.
nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah,
You too.
and hopefully we'll get something situated with this connection next time, so we can have a little bit more. I don't know if I have to upgrade my internet speed or what have you. I think I got like 200, almost 300 megabits per second. So I don't think that's it, but we'll figure it out either way.
I
But
did
yeah,
want to ask you about
go ahead.
your intro, the animation that you use.
Which one?
Did you so your the crash biddy where it looks like Crash Bandicoot, like that whole animation sequence. Where did you get that from?
Where did I get the emblem, or where did I get the
like the whole animation process? Like I've been trying to learn how to do that stuff, and I'm thinking I might have to just pay somebody if I'm gonna.
So what I did was, okay, so you were saying like animation. I'm thinking like, because I had like a video where there was like something swirling around the Crash Bitty thing.
Right.
Okay, so that I just used on Windows. They have like Movie Maker, and there was some like graphics in there. So I just put the picture up, and I added the graphics on top of it, and it just kind of did it. It was pretty simple. But if you're talking about the color scheme and stuff, I actually worked with Santiago. He does graphic design and what have you.
Yeah.
And he cleared up the picture for me, and then like got rid of all the when the quality of a picture that I had is not that clean. He cleared it up for me.
It was pixelated.
Yeah, it was pixelated, and then I put it in an app that I have on my phone, and then I put the color sequence to it. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got the flames and stuff in the eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then
it looks badass, dude.
Thanks, man.
Every video I've watched, I'm like, damn it, I need to learn how to do that shit.
Yeah, man. And then as far as the animation, like when I did the 700 video, I wasn't even going to use that video because I was trying a different mount on my handlebars, and the mount that I got from Sporty Spice, it rattled a lot. So I was like, I can't even use this because the audio sucks. Because I know a lot of people like the raw video, which I understand. You can hear the tires and you can hear the trail, but it was a lot of rattling, and that irks the shit out of me. So I was like, I'm just gonna put music to it, and it kind of just turned into what it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's what I use. If
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, if you want to shoot me over your logo, maybe I could put it on that app and then mess with it and shoot it back to you and see what you think, or maybe
that'd be cool.
Yeah, man. Just have fun with it. That's usually what I try to do. I just try to have fun with it, and then whatever comes out of it, it comes out of it. You know what I mean? I really try not to.
I have Adobe. I pay a monthly service fee to use Adobe Creative or whatever.
Yeah, I want to go to that.
And that's how I edit my my screenshots, or not my screenshots, but my thumbnails and stuff like that. That's what I use. But man, like some of that stuff is so complicated, and I was already spending so much time editing, and then I was gonna have to learn how to do all this stop animation stuff. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Especially if you got a job, and then that's another thing that people don't understand. Like, even though you're in the room editing and what have you, you're spending time away from your family, like your wife or like your significant other, kids, what have you. So I really try to. That's why I kind of put that disclaimer on my YouTube channel, like, hey, each video I'm just gonna try to get better, try to bring a different content. Don't always expect the same thing, because I don't like living in that bubble of creativity where you just kind of have to. I did my last video like this, so I got to say like this. And it's just kind of my disclaimer, so it gives me the leeway to do, like, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna go do this. And the same thing with social media. Like today, I started a challenge on my Instagram page, like it's really just to try to have people be aware of like how much time they're on the phone. And I'm not gonna be on any social media today. It's easy for me for the most part, but I did find like the first thing I did, I wanted to go to Instagram just out of habit. And I stopped, and I was like, it's just really, and that's what it is. It's like to kind of keep the balance of, social media, this thing I like to do, and then also my family and personal time, writing and all that stuff. So, I don't know. But yeah, man, if you want to shoot over a picture, I'll try to mess with it, whatever, in my free time, and then shoot it back to you and try to give you like different ideas of what I could use. And then you could just use that little clip and then throw it in the front or whatever, in the back.
Okay. Is it better to email or text?
Depending on the quality, you can. I would probably say email. I can give you my email after this.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Just because you can send bigger files over email.
Right.
But,
cool.
Yeah, man. But thanks, man. Thanks for that feedback. That's another thing. Just real quick. Another thing about that is it's hard to know what type of videos you're making if nobody gives you feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you're just throwing it out there, and it's just like silence, and you're like,
yeah.
yes,
When I don't get feedback, I start looking at the analytics, and that's the freaking rabbit hole I went down, and that's how I started getting absorbed into that. Looking at analytics, like you said, people only watching 2 minutes of a 5-minute video. Like, come on, man, it's 5 minutes.
5 minutes, man. It took me like 6 days to make this shit. And you're giving me 5 fucking minutes. 5 fucking minutes.
That's it.
That's why I kind of learned. Like another thing, like I watch other people's like some other films I like, or not films, but YouTubers is IFHT. I kind of like watching their videos. They're out of it's like Mahalo My Dude, and it's IFHT Films, and they kind of put like these like edits together, and so I kind of just watch these just different ones and I try to implement them in videos, but not necessarily taking their just like the ideas of the way they're cutting stuff, because I'm trying to just make it more entertaining for people. Actually, I got something kind of in the middle of this video that I threw in that kind of talks to that. So if you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It breaks up the video in the middle. Because what I started out with, the video like showing the bike, like the specs on it. You know, I'm kind of talking over it, and then it starts into the video of me riding an Angel Fire over the like 2 days of video, and it's kind of I just made like an edit in there, like kind of like the last one, but it's different with different music, and then I put something in the middle to break it up, and then at the end of it, it's kind of like my thoughts on this the review of the bike, you know, how it handled, what I didn't like about it, etc. So yeah, look for that little Easter egg in the middle, and I think your dog's telling you it's time. So
it's the mailman, vicious mailman.
Yeah,
my bladder.
Oh, your bladder's full? Yeah, mine's getting there too.
Oh my god,
that's funny.
Yeah, but all right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for your time, Chug. Be safe out there. Be safe in Kansas. Watch out for those houses falling on the witches out there.
Oh shit! But if one falls, make sure you got some killer socks on, man.
Yeah, make sure you got some killer socks on, dude. You can't go out looking like a chump.
Yeah, we keep some great groovy socks.
There you go.
That's funny.
Patrick, thanks for your time, man. Thanks for telling us about S.T.O.R.M, sharing that stuff with your YouTube channel, what have you, and maybe in the future, man, we'll have you on again, man. I hope you had a good time. We had a good time getting this information out, and yeah, man. And if you could when this posts or whatever you want to share with your like whoever is on your channel too, that'd be cool. If not, it's not a big deal. You know, I really try to stay away from like promoting too much, because then I kind of rather just people like the product and they'll watch it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not really like force it down people's throats. But
what is your social media? Like, what are the handles? What's the name of the YouTube?
YouTube is going to be.
What's your Instagram and all that?
Lone Star MTB for both Instagram and YouTube, and then Facebook is just my name. But I try to keep Facebook or just
keep them separate.
Yeah. It's my personal stuff. You know, I post pictures from travels with the wife and stuff like that. It's a little more personal.
You don't have to give that out, dude. Just so Lone Star MTB on Instagram and Lone Star MTB on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, go check him out. He has some good reviews on some Bell helmets as well as some other stuff. So hopefully he start creating again soon within his certain timeline.
Right.
I'm pretty sure to expect some good stuff out of that as well. But
thanks,
Chuck,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Chuck, thanks for your time. Be safe out there. Patrick, thanks for your time.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, man. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, man. You too. All right, brother.